we knew it was coming. We saw the schedule. We ID'd this weekend 6 AP ranked matchups, one shy of a record for a weekend of 7, 3 of them in the Pac-12. And I want to start in the Pac-12. It's because we know what's happening with the conference. This is the final year of its existence, and it's probably the deepest and best year we've seen in quite some time. And so my first cheers is cheers to the Pac-12 for having a remarkable season to start. But when you look at the depth of the league, and that was put on display with Colorado on Saturday, and I bring them up because going into the season, we didn't expect anything but a little bit of hype from Deion. And they have taken the hype and they've gone 10 levels beyond what any of us, I think, thought was possible. Now, a couple of things can be true about what happened yesterday with Colorado. Part one, the start, amazing. No one thought they'd be 3-0. The TCU win, the Nebraska win, the Colorado State win to start the season 3-0 exceeded everyone's expectations tenfold. That's true. It can also be true that the hype and where they were ranked and who they were as a team and a program, they're probably overrated. And that's not a slight on Deion, Colorado, or anything that they're trying to build. But it was proven yesterday against Colorado that or against Oregon rather, they're still not in that realm of a top 25 team. And that's okay. And I think this morning people are piling on saying, see, I told you so. That's not the way to handle it. It's not Deion and Colorado's fault that media companies have glommed onto them like the greatest thing in sports. And I think that's what we're seeing this morning because of all the attention they got. They got more attention than any program in the country. That includes two-time defending champion Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, all of them. They've gotten the most attention in sports. That's not Deion's fault. That's Deion's job. It's Coach Prime's job to get his program the national spotlight. And he did that probably to an obnoxious level, which is probably why people this morning are saying, hey, see, I told you so. They're not a good team. Well, that's not what we're talking about. Are they a top 25 team? No. Should they be getting the attention they're getting for what they are as a football team? Probably not. But that speaks to the genius of Coach Prime. He's managed to take a team that is probably, if we're being fair this morning, slightly above average. They're probably a 6-6 team. By the metric alone, that's average. And so that's who they are. Now, you bring in a coach like him that's getting the attention, the sunglasses, the watches, Deion Sanders, the Heisman Trophy. If you can turn that into making people believe you're one of the best programs in the country, I've said this since day one. He's the most brilliant marketer we've seen in college football history. Now, when it comes to the football, they're going to lose to USC next week. They just are. And they've got, I think, Arizona State, that kind of combination. They're looking at 6 wins. That's 500. That's average with above average attention. So this morning when people are piling on, it's not necessary. He's doing his job. He's putting his program first. Anybody who knows football has seen it. They're a nice team. They're okay. So cheers to Colorado for the first month of the season for doing something maybe a lot of people didn't think was possible, but keeping your team into the spotlight. But look, 6-6, fine. They're going to go to a bowl game. I think their win total was 3.5 to start the season. So Oregon's the better team, the better program. They showed it. Has nothing to do with Colorado. It's not an indictment on, see, I told you so. They got a little hyped by the media. That's what the media does. We find something, we latch onto it. It's good for ratings. We create stories. We build stories. And that story still will happen. They're still going to get attention this week against USC. But end of the day, the team that was on the field is the team we thought they were. Travis Hunter's out. I don't know that it made that big of a difference, but the Colorado train will move on. Another game that I want to talk to. 4 points I kind of want to get to today. 1 was Colorado. 2 is Ohio State, Notre Dame. That lived up to every bit of the hype. Ryan Day post-game going off on Lou Holtz, I thought was incredible just for the simple fact that coaches will tell you all the time that they don't listen to the outside noise, but they clearly do. And what Lou Holtz said about Ohio State being out physical in their losses. You're basically calling a team soft. That clearly got under Ryan Day's skin. But the cheers this morning is to Marvin Harrison Jr., who rolled up an ankle on a Travion Henderson touchdown run, and it looked bad. I mean, it looked really bad. And for him to gut it out, go on the sidelines, tape up the ankle, try to figure it out and get back in the game, for him to do that in this day and age and to get back out on the field and help his team to a victory, I think it's one of the more underrated stories from Saturday. Because we saw his teammate a year ago. And I'm not saying Jackson Smith and Jigba wasn't really hurt or the hamstring wasn't really bothered. He tried to give it a go last year. It just didn't happen. He felt at the end of the day, it was probably safest to not play and protect his NFL future. That's his decision. He got drafted high in the first round of the Seattle Seahawks. It's worked out for him. And we were sitting in studio yesterday, myself, Dan Mullen, and Joey Galloway, an Ohio State alum and Ohio State all-time great. And we thought that when we saw the ankle roll, that perhaps that'd be the last we see of Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be a top 5 pick. He's the best receiver in college football. Who would blame him? And to see him come back out there and continue to play at a high level, and then Ohio State pull that off, you cheer for a kid like that who clearly showed yesterday what the Notre Dame game and what this season means to him. And Kyle McCord, look, you're replacing Justin Fields, top 10 pick. You're replacing CJ Stroud, top 10 pick. All you have to do is go on with an NFL receiving core and an NFL running back and not screw it up. He brought them down, big plays, end of the game. The one, I believe it was 3rd and 19, Emeka Egbuka down. They had to get up, clock it, then Chip Trainum got the game-winning touchdown. I mean, just a remarkable comeback for Ohio State on the road to narrowly get that win. Now, conversely, with Marcus Freeman, it is not a good look that they only had 10 guys on the field twice during the game-winning drive for Ohio State. And they had the game. They had it. Sam Hartman did what he came to Notre Dame to do. And at the end of the day, Ohio State was too much. And the way that this works, and I think Marcus is a phenomenal coach. He's a phenomenal recruiter. He's got Notre Dame maintaining their level of football. It's just not a good look. I mean, 10 guys on the field. Give me something I can feel. Light a cigarette just so I can breathe.